Chosen one, supernatural. Win. On October 14th, listen, something beyond human understanding is already moving in your favor. What is arriving for you isn't average, and it surely isn't ordinary. October 14th holds more than just hours on a calendar. It holds divine strategy. There's a supernatural win that is being organized specifically with your name written into the framework of its success. You weren't randomly selected to hear this message. You were called. You were guided. And now you are being confirmed. You are being ushered into a moment that will reveal why the wait was necessary, why the tension was required, why the battle had to get loud before the blessing got visible. October 14th is not coming to play with your emotions, it's coming to shift them. Heaven is aligning timelines and orchestrating movements in ways that cannot be intercepted. It's no longer about who supports you. It's about who sent you. Watch this video until the end, chosen one. What you are about to experience is not just another encouraging message. It's a direct spiritual activation. And in the comments below, write your warmest wishes and type the number 777, the number of completion and release. This will ignite a wave of energetic intention, and as others join in, the universe will take note. What you declare now holds weight, and it's your turn to witness what you once only imagined. Now, chosen one, like this video, subscribe if you haven't subscribed to the channel, and let's begin. God has not forgotten what He whispered to you long ago. Every tear you shed in silence was counted. Every prayer you didn't know how to finish was already heard before it left your soul. That's the power of divine intimacy. And on October 14th, that intimacy will meet fulfillment. This win will not look like what the world defines as success. This is not a promotion in a system that never saw you. This is not applause from a crowd that never knew your heart. This win is supernatural. It defies logic. It cannot be traced by traditional means, and it will not come through expected sources. God is bypassing the usual and going straight into the miraculous. You are about to see movement in areas you declared dead. Things you buried in past seasons are about to resurrect, but not in the same form. Better, more radiant, more aligned. The kind of outcome that causes observers to ask, "How did that happen?" And the only reply you'll have is, "God." This moment is evidence that nothing is wasted. The delay did not erase the promise. It only expanded its depth. October 14th will not be random for you. It is a response to spiritual cries, a reply from the heavens saying, "I was listening the whole time." You may feel unprepared. You may question your timing. But God never sends you into supernatural victory when you feel ready. He sends you when the timeline of the unseen aligns with the frequency of your faith. This is why your journey felt longer. This is why your battles were uniquely intense. This is why certain doors didn't open for you, because a win was being customized in realms that others couldn't access. You weren't denied. You were being prepared for something that had never been seen before. And now, that something is knocking. October 14th is not just about what you'll gain, it's about what you'll remember. You'll remember how it felt to be left out, how it felt to be overlooked, how it felt to smile in public while collapsing in private. Because once the win arrives, you'll be holding in your hands what once only existed in your spirit. This supernatural victory will confirm who you are and silence everything that tried to convince you otherwise. You won't need to defend yourself. You won't need to prove anything. When God delivers, even your enemies have to acknowledge it. Get ready to experience divine proof, the kind that settles arguments without saying a word, the kind that walks into a room and shifts the energy, the kind that says, "This is what happens when someone holds on." God is not blessing you for perfection. He is moving for you because of alignment, because of trust, because of the fact that you didn't let go even when you felt like it. You held on when there was no applause, no confirmation, and no external validation. That kind of faith can't be ignored. That kind of belief pulls the supernatural into the now. October 14th is not going to scream. It's not going to announce itself with fireworks. It will begin quietly, almost invisibly. But something will shift. You'll notice a change in how people speak to you, how doors begin to open, how your name gets mentioned in rooms your feet haven't even entered. This is supernatural territory. It doesn't operate by rules, it operates by revelation. You were never meant to be seen by everyone, but you were always meant to be seen by the right ones. And now the spotlight of destiny is turning toward you. The wind that's coming carries confirmation, not the kind you can touch, but the kind you can feel. The unshakable awareness that God didn't bring you this far to abandon you at the edge. He's not just delivering a result. He's delivering a revelation. You are about to understand why everything took so long. The delays, the detours, the painful shifts, they were all part of a supernatural setup. And when it happens on October 14th, it will feel like something you've never known, but always recognized in your soul. There is a specific kind of movement that God reserves for appointed times, not general seasons, appointed moments. October 14th is one of those moments. You may not understand everything today, but you're standing on ground that's been sanctified by divine decision. Your presence here is not a coincidence. It's alignment. The message was delivered to your screen on purpose. It sought you out because something inside of you is about to match the atmosphere around you. And when that match happens, boom, the shift will be undeniable. This win will not just change your reality. It will change your identity. Not in the eyes of God. He always knew who you were. But in the eyes of others who tried to categorize you by what you lacked. They saw the surface. God saw the story. And the story is about to unfold. Get ready, chosen one. The win is closer than it seems. And it's carrying more than you prayed for. This is not the end of your journey. It's the beginning of a supernatural era. There are certain moments in time that feel different, not because of what's happening on the surface, but because of what's breaking open behind the scenes. And Chosen One, October 14th, has been designed to carry that weight. You won't just walk into a new experience. You'll walk into a divine answer that has been carried through realms for you. God isn't just preparing to hand you a win. He's about to reveal why the win had to be supernatural. This couldn't be built by man. It couldn't be orchestrated by systems. It could not come through channels where your name was never honored. It had to be Him. It had to bypass structures. It had to confuse the logic of those who thought they knew the script of your life. This is not about revenge. This is about release. You are stepping into a dimension where divine power overrides earthly patterns. The way things usually go is not the way it will go for you. Your story is being narrated by God, and He doesn't write according to tradition. He writes according to purpose. Chosen One, it's been heavy for a reason. The delays weren't there to harm you. They were recalibrating the atmosphere so that your win would fall into perfect placement. Do you realize how many times you were almost blessed? How many times it almost happened, but didn't? That wasn't rejection. That was redirection. You were not being punished. You were being held in divine suspension, waiting for a time when your heart, your faith, your wisdom, and your calling would converge. That time is now, and it's being marked by the divine on October 14th. There will be signs, small, yet undeniably sacred. You'll feel them in your body, in your emotions, in your surroundings. You'll recognize them by how they don't feel forced. God's fingerprints leave peace, even in moments of mystery. And the closer you move toward this win, the more ease you will feel. Not because the path is simple, but because God is the one clearing it. Watch how things begin to move without your control. The conversations you didn't start. The opportunities you didn't chase. The favor you didn't manipulate. These are the markers of a supernatural win. They come with no strings attached, because they've been sent from a place above human agenda. October 14th is not just a day on your calendar. It's a scheduled collision between divine timing and personal fulfillment. And the kind of win you're about to receive will not only lift your spirit, it will silence every lie that tried to haunt your journey. They said you were late, but God says you were being launched. They said it was over, but God said it was still unfolding. They said you missed your moment, but your moment was never theirs to measure. The supernatural doesn't follow clocks. It follows calling. And yours is louder than ever. What you've felt in your spirit, that pressing sense that something is about to break open, that wasn't wishful thinking. That was prophetic intuition. That was the inner knowing of a soul that has been whispered to by God in dreams, in visions, in quiet hours, when no one else could hear. And now that whisper is turning into witness. This win will feel personal. It will hit in places that were once numb. It will restore trust in areas where you silently gave up. You may not have told anyone how close you came to walking away, but God saw it. He knew the weight. He carried it with you. And now He's returning it in the form of supernatural recompense. You weren't imagining it. You weren't delusional for believing something better was coming. That pull you felt toward greater was God's signal that He was about to do something that doesn't fit inside boxes. Chosen one, you're not stepping into just a better season. You're stepping into the season. The one that rewrites your history. The one that gives new meaning to your pain. The one that breaks open a reality you were never allowed to access before, not because you weren't worthy, but because it wasn't time. Now it is. October 14th is not just the result of faith. It is the reward of spiritual endurance. You stood when the ground beneath you shook. You kept going when prayers felt hollow. And that kind of resilience does not return void. God is not unjust. He saw the nights. He saw the tears. He saw you choosing love when hate would have been easier. He saw you forgiving what others would have used as fuel. And so He chose to honor you, not through small gestures, but through undeniable moves. You're not just going to feel blessed, you're going to feel chosen. That's the difference. Chosen blessings don't come with confusion. They don't arrive halfway. They don't make you question your worth. When a supernatural win is released from heaven, it arrives with confirmation. You'll know it's yours because it will fit like it was always meant for you. No striving, no performance, just divine match. And once it arrives, nothing can reverse it. This is the kind of win that not only brings results, it brings restoration, and not just in your finances or your environment, but in your sense of identity. You'll remember who you are again. God is not just sending breakthrough, He is sending clarity. The clouds are lifting. The pressure is breaking. The old mindset is dissolving. There's a new atmosphere forming around you, one that refuses to entertain fear. One that is no longer shaped by trauma. One that remembers who made you and why you were born. And in that atmosphere, supernatural wins are normal. You're going to get used to favor. You're going to start expecting blessing. Not from ego, but from alignment. From a heart that finally understands that when God says yes, no system, no pattern, no generational resistance can say no. October 14th is going to start quietly, but its impact will echo far beyond what you can see. It will begin in stillness, but it will conclude with celebration. Get ready, chosen one. This is only the unfolding of what has already been done in spirit. What's being unlocked now was completed long before you ever asked. And the door is swinging open. Your supernatural win is not coming. It's here. There is something quietly stirring beneath the surface of your life right now. Something that doesn't require loud announcements or dramatic signs to make itself known. Yet its presence is undeniable. October 14th is not just approaching. It is carrying with it a powerful spiritual activation, one that has been concealed behind the fabric of ordinary time until now. Chosen one, this moment has been scheduled with precision, woven into your destiny by the very hand of God, who has been silently aligning every detail without requiring your awareness or permission. The timing of this supernatural win was never random. It was divinely structured, placed into your journey at a point where your soul could finally perceive the magnitude of what is being released. For many seasons, you have walked through inner contradictions. You held faith while the circumstances around you mocked it. You maintained hope in an environment designed to extinguish it. And you continued forward even as your spirit was met with resistance in every direction. Yet now, after all that, the convergence is near. What was once scattered in your life is being collected. What seemed delayed is revealing itself to have been carefully protected. The invisible tension you've been living with wasn't the absence of progress. It was the trembling of a system preparing to break open with glory. There are things that could not come to you while you were still entangled in survival mode patterns, still searching for outside validation, or still working to convince yourself that you were worthy of receiving more. That season has ended. And it ended not because you mastered everything, but because your heart has matured to the level where the blessing can no longer be postponed. On October 14th, something that was once hidden in divine secrecy will begin to unfold, not because of pressure or performance, but because God has decreed that it is now safe for this part of your story to be revealed. There is a divine intelligence behind the stillness you've been experiencing. It's not stagnation. It's a spiritual seal being lifted. The universe is shifting gears in your favor, not through chaos, but through coordination. What's approaching does not need to prove itself through spectacle, because it will manifest in a way that resonates so deeply with your soul that no external validation will be necessary. You will know it's for you by how it restores parts of your identity that were almost forgotten in the struggle. What's unique about this supernatural win is that it won't merely change something in your outer world. It will recalibrate something internally. It will remind you of who you were before the disappointments, before the abandonment, before the discouragement crept in and made you doubt the voice of God in your life. This win is not coming to boost your ego. It is coming to heal the areas of your spirit that have been faithfully waiting for evidence that the pain you endured was not in vain. October 14th will not bring you something temporary. It is bringing you something eternal, something weighty, something that was preserved in heaven until you had grown strong enough, wise enough, and spiritually tuned enough to carry it without it crushing you. It may not look like the blessing others expect for you. It may not resemble any of the paths you've seen others walk. That's because this win wasn't formed by copying, it was formed by covenant. God's covenant with you includes moments of glory that do not need to be compared to anyone else's process, because your process has been unlike anything they've known. You are stepping into the kind of shift that confirms why you had to walk alone for so long. There were seasons where isolation became your classroom, where silence was your teacher, and where delayed answers were the only thing holding your faith together. But even in those moments, God was tracking every detail. He wasn't just watching you, He was preserving you, preserving your mind, your hope, your essence, your fire. And now, He is releasing what He reserved for you. This release will not announce itself in flashy ways. Rather, it will start in your spirit, with an inner knowing that is so clear, so unshakable, that you will feel no need to explain it to anyone.